we interrupt your daily routine in your so-called normal world, and let's take a journey into Glenn Muse and his world. Now, what I'm about to say is about the Nova Scotia healthcare system, in particular the mental health department. There are no individuals named here because the nurses are overworked, they're understaffed, and they're forced to use security guards to sit in the hallway and do absolutely nothing because you get $12 an hour, and it doesn't work out very well for them. And what I'm going to tell you is, you might seem it hard to believe, but I don't, because I just went through 1 week of being locked down, unvaxxed, okay, in the Cape Breton mental health facility called 1B. Now, this place is thoroughly understaffed, and it's run by a couple of very well-trained RNs that have a grip on organization, but they don't have the manpower and the knowledge that they have to run a facility of this nature. Now, I was there for a whole week. I'll tell you the story, okay? For the past 2 years, I've been sending emails and all kinds of information to our local council, and I've also been sending it to members of the provincial government, the RCMP, the Cape Breton Regional Police Force. There is currently an investigation underway in regard to a file I provided them, which you would see on the other videos. Okay, now, there was a warrant issued for my arrest last week, a week ago, and it came to be as a community treatment order because 2 psychiatrists sat down on the telephone and talked to me and told me that I was going to be arrested and taken physically to the Cape Breton Regional Hospital and placed on a mental institution ward called 1B. Okay, so Glenn kicked in, right? Immediately. I put the phone down. I packed a small little carry bag. People want to know why I carry this bag? Now you know, because I was able to get out of the house, get a cab in the backyard, and get up to Membertou on safe ground belonging to the Mi'kmaq Indians. No cops up there at the moment. There were 10 squad cars that were deployed to find Glenn. Okay, they wanted me in that hospital. Okay, and they were under orders to get me, and so I decided I might as well go play a few games. Let's see now, I have a friend, I'm not going to say who it is, but he was very kind and generous. He's part of a network of friends. They're safe houses, okay? And so this friend allowed me to go to his home. Won't remain unknown at the moment, for sure. And we played chess maybe a bit, and we sat down, smoked a couple of doobies, and we talked a lot about the past and about a lot of things that we had in common. I spent the night, and then early the next day I went on my way meandering around. And then I decided I'd sneak home to my apartment because I know that there had been at least 5 incursions of people at the door and at my neighbor's door looking for Glenn. Well, Glenn was, guess what? Glenn was across the street by the pizza shop watching him. I just had on a different disguise. And it was kind of funny. And so there I am in disguise over in the corner. You would never know it because it's not this hat, and I'm not going to tell you how. But we're in a drama here, okay? So, okay, they're over at the door, and they don't make entry. So I said, this is strange. I thought they might kick the door down. So when they left, I waited, and then I went in with my key and immediately closed the blinds, only opened them a little bit like they were, and I hunkered down, okay? So now we're 24 hours into a hunted man on the run. So the man on the run decided that, well, I did the hunker down here, and I started doing some writing. I was listening to music that was real low. Oh, I'm taking a course in theology, and it's on the early Catholic Church traditional values. You might notice, you see these? Well, these are Catholic scapulars, and they hold a lot of sacramental value, and it's part of my life. It's part of what you're listening to now and looking at. And you see to my left over here, take a look at that. I got to watch everything I say, okay? So they monitor everything. And even at the hospital, I was just trying to get something, you know, for myself. And, well, I picked up the nasty habit of cigarettes again, temporarily. Because, I don't know, under stress. Who gives a shit? But anyway, I was going to get them through the fence. Would have been cheaper. But lo and behold, Nurse Ratchet was sitting at the desk, and she was monitoring my phone calls. Like, I was in a lockdown, okay? They came through the door. Let's first get back to that. When I was in here by myself, I was having a stir fry. I even had a rotisserie chicken ready to go. But I'm glad I didn't take it at the freezer. Anyway, all of a sudden, I knew that, hey, they'd been at the door about 5 times and I didn't answer. So they're figuring there's lots of communication going on off of my phone, through text, through emails. I'm on YouTube. I'm just, you know, having a normal day, sending things out. I know they're monitoring me. So they're getting pretty fed up by now. And they decide, okay, we're going to take him out. So they did. But I'll tell you, I got to say, the Cape Breton Regional Police, after the initial entry, were gentlemen. Okay? And Constable Brett Bursey, I'm really glad that I got to know these guys early on. I was treated with the utmost of care. I got to say, not even handcuffs. Okay? Not one hair on my body was ruffled. They came in kind of hard, but you do that. You're cops. You don't know what's inside. I'm just standing there dressed in my finest. I didn't look too bad. I looked like a renegade, I guess. Anyway, the first thing Brett says was, "Do you need smokes?" And that's one of the things I told them early on in this thing, is that to diffuse a situation where there's any mental health issues, and they currently thought that I was, you offer a cigarette, and it diffuses. If it is an actual event, it will diffuse it. And that was fantastic. He used it, and he didn't have a vest on. So he didn't look like the rest of the guys that were on the step. Now, the only one guy came in with them and was pretty polite. I'm telling you, they never touched anything. The guy from New Dawn was here. He locked the door, gave me the thumbs up. You keep an eye. Everything was cool. Off to the hospital we go. Shit, I told him, oh, look at that. How about we put that up there before I put it down, because it's going to fall off. I don't have a set. Okay, so let's look at that. What happened? They came through the door, and I was on a phone call with a guy from Mike from Triad. He has these air filter systems, and we're trying to negotiate a deal. And I was telling him we're on the same vein. We're Christian. We're on the same road. Unvaxxed. We're renegades. Okay, we disavow anything of the left. Anything of the left. Okay, Mike is a really great guy. So I'm talking to him on the phone as they're coming through the door, and it was glorious. It was like, I don't know if he taped it. I haven't heard from him yet. But anyway, it went broadcasting. I thought the phone was on, even in the car with the cops on the way to the hospital. I don't know if it cut out. I had no idea. I never checked. I'm going to have to look how long it lasted. But nevertheless, I get to the hospital. I'm taken directly down to an isolation unit, away from all the vaccinated people that are scared of me. They're scared of the unvaxxed guy. Think about that. Okay, so onto the unit I go, and it starts to get weird. It really starts to get weird then. Okay, so they put me in this room. Now there's people walking around with masks on, and some with none. The nurses all had masks on. Now the door is left open, and I'm in an isolation room. And the only barrier between me and the outside is that if I step out over the line by the door. I'm not kidding. And down in the corner they have a security guard, okay? He's sitting in a chair. You get paid $12 an hour, okay? And if anything ever broke out there of any serious nature, like it did later, I'll tell you, they would have to jump in the fray, and God knows what they'd expect, because these are young students and they're here to make some money on the side. They never realized what they were getting into when they went with Meritech. See, they firmed out security to a security firm, and they have no training in mental health. And they're sitting there while the nurses are cocooned in their bivouac there. It's like in the center, like Panopticon, right? Now, it's not their fault. It's not the nurses. There are a lot of beautiful nurses there, every one of them. I wasn't treated with disrespect by any one nurse. I gotta say, Denise is the head nurse. Okay, she runs a very solid ship. She always has. And then we have a newcomer, and look, I apologize, but I didn't write down your name, and I really apologize, but this woman is a powerhouse. Okay, she's a German woman, and she's I tell you, she's so organized. It's efficiency that you see in her. When you think of the German people, and I'm not being disparaging here, they're very, very precise. They're very organized, and it was a wonder to watch this person work. And so I'm on the unit, and I've never, ever, ever taken a PCR test. Okay, never. Okay, and I knew in the back of my head that if I submitted to a PCR test and it came up positive, as they're like to do, that I would be subjected then to another 20 or 14 days of isolation. Well, I had to think, and I didn't want it. I told them explicitly I didn't want it, okay? And so they put me in with this new doctor that didn't know me from Adam. And at first it seemed like he was a bit harsh. And I think it was because of what he expected from the memos that he was reading, because he never met me before. So all he had were these reports from one Dr. Alley. That's the one I'll mention, because Dr. Alley nearly killed me. We won't talk about that right now, but I think the reports that were in that file, yeah, were leading this guy to think that I was just violent, manic, out of my mind, okay? Well, he was soon to find out that eccentricity is not a mental illness, and a head injury is not bipolar. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to label me, all these doctors, for years and years and years now, okay? We're talking 50 years since the accident, and I've gone through numerous labels. They got me schizophrenic and the bipolar and rapid cycler and God knows what else I never looked. You're not allowed to look in your file. So there I am with this new doctor, and we're sitting in his, now there with one of the male nurses. I know this guy, so I'm not fearful. I know him from years ago. He's a really good nurse, okay? When it comes to male nurses, I think my friend Brendan O'Connell would agree that when you find somebody that really does their job well, you keep them, and you don't make them managers. You keep them on the floor. I think Brendan would agree with that. And it's in this case that it was real. So this guy, I'm not going to mention him, there are no names here, he was good, really good. So there we are, and we haven't gotten even into the meals yet, so we'll get there in a minute, but I talked to this doctor for 10 minutes. It was already in the cards to hold me for 72 hours plus. When the 72 hours, which was almost up, because I evaded them, they put another 72 hours on. Okay, so I'm going to be there. I know I'm going to be there. I had to flip over into unit life immediately. And I'll tell you what that means. When you saw that sign before, right, about the gulags, right, and the thieves and all that, well, when you get up in the morning, one of these units, right, you got to scramble for a cup of coffee, because 22 people will be looking for 10 little packets of Taster's Choice. And that's because the budget of the hospital in mental health has been destroyed. Okay, it's been destroyed for the past 12 years. Cape Breton Regional Hospital is the worst hospital in Canada for 10 years. And I'm the only one standing up to raise the red flag. They reported in the media, but they bury it in the local media. It doesn't make any national news. This is what the communists are good at, okay? Propaganda is second nature to the communists. In this case, at the regional hospital, it's a brainwashing that they do on the students. Here we go again. Anyway, there's a brainwashing that they do on the students, okay? And so I had an opportunity to debrief for them today. It's another story. But, so, when you look at a gulag and you look at a hospital setting, the only thing that's changed here is the methods and deployment of what they need to do to maintain control. So in this case, and I'm not going to be disparaging here, I'm going to try to be respectful, okay? Because I met some characters on Unit 1B, right, that just shows how so far out of touch our young people are. Now, I'm going to say there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people all under the age of 25. And every one of them was in a state of not knowing who they were. And they were in all types of different, they were into the pronoun stuff, okay? And I didn't understand any of this. Like I see what I see on YouTube or on TikTok or on whatever. I just see pictures. I don't know what's really happening because it's been years since I've been involved on the mental health unit. And so what I found was there were people that were making declarations as to who they were and what they were. I have this condition or that condition, and I am this or that, but I'm not that. And it was so confusing between these 5 people that I had to ask one, okay? Like, what are you actually talking about here? Like, what are you talking about, gender fluid stuff? I don't understand it. I'm 67. I'm having a hard time understanding it. So he said he was pansexual. Well, look, I don't know what that means. It sounds like Peter Pan or Pan from the mythology. But pansexual, I said, what the hell is that? What does that even mean? Like, and he said that love goes with anything. Left, right, up, down, didn't matter. Panopticon, in sex, in gender, and in, okay, what does that mean? You do anything with anything? That's right. That's what he said. But now he's settled on being bisexual. He said he's settled on it. Oh, it was a shock. And then there's another kid there. Not a kid, but he's a grown adult. And he's been in many group homes, and now he's going through pretending he's gay. He's got his fingers painted pink. And I know this kid, he comes from an incestuous home. I had seen him when he was a kid growing up. I had nothing I could do about it. It was a dirty town, Waterford. Anyway, so he's there, and he starts trying to get closer to me. I said, get rid of this. Like, they had to put him on another unit. Okay? And then there were, I noticed that there were a lot of people that came in, at least 3 of them, with neurological and motor skill damage. And every one of them had a story to tell. If it wasn't about epidermal, or it wasn't about one girl, she was in diabetic coma a couple of weeks after her Pfizer. And another girl came in totally disoriented and raped totally, she had MS or something. And they're all in on this one ward, and there's more on the other 2 wards. So I don't know what's going on over there. But I do know what I saw here at the 22 people stocked to the walls, that the food is so inadequate, like the breakfast, okay? You get a tray, and if you don't follow the rules of getting to the phone and talking to some person to put in some type of order only to say there's not this or not that, and you end up, in my case, with a boiled egg, a little cup of fruit, and 2 little or one piece of toast cut in half with some skim milk. And I'm on a keto diet. I told the dietitian, everybody knew that there's no such thing anymore. You can't get a tomato at that hospital. You cannot get anything with meat except for some kind of frozen pork roll, and chicken that's been rehashed. Now get the salad. Okay, I want to have a double salad because they're tiny little things. And all it is lettuce and shavings of carrots. So you get two of them if you can get them. I had to determine that, look, I'm not going to get fed there, right? And I'm watching all of the foolish food that they're stuffing into people that they want them to eat. It's full of carbs and crap, right? All these big wraps with all kinds of crap in them. And so it's all bottom end stuff. And the Nova Scotia Health Authority is liable right now for negligence, because these people inside of this 3 units do not get the caloric intake and the nutrients they require. In the mornings, it's like a madhouse, because people scramble for the trays and look to see what people left behind. It's like a gulag, only in a different level. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? They moved it into the hospital. Now, I'm not done with this. Okay, I'm just getting started. I want the Nova Scotia Health Authority to know that I'm keeping records. I've been taking phone calls and taping and getting freedom of information requests, and I'm ready. Because threatening me and putting me into a mental institution for a week was kind of like a vacation from what's out in the normal world, what they call normal. Holy shit! You know, the only thing missing was a reefer. You know. And watching and the things that were going on. Now, okay, some of the characters there, this is really, really out of this world. Okay? I made some really good friends there. I actually did. I met a young man. Get this now. His father invited him home because he was he was his stepson, and he was up in Ontario derelict. He had a pension, but he flew down, he went and got the vaccines and everything, he did what he should have. He got on a plane and flew down here. When he gets here, he gets a text saying, F you, I'm not picking you up. Now, the kid is here all alone, 24, 25 years old, and he is emancipated because he's been on methadone. And he ends up in the hospital in the mental unit, and with the grace of God, I was able to talk to him and give him some hope that I would help him, okay, to get out of that mess. So, like I'm doing always, I gave him my phone number, and I'll work with this kid. And I know I can help him far better than what they can. Then we have my buddy Mike. I just met him. He's a war vet, okay? Not a war vet, I'd say, but a Canadian military veteran. The war, I don't like the word war. But Mike is a solid Cape Breton man from up the Ingonish Way, and north up to Meat Cove and Pleasant Bay, all that area. He's related to the Burtons, and he's related to all of the McKinnons up there, and man, oh man, what a guy he is. He's as strong as a bull. Okay, strong as a bull, man. He had a broken back. And the Canadian military did nothing to help him. He was a personal friend of Lionel Desmond, and Lionel served with him, okay? And Lionel was the guy that took his own life and his wife, his mother-in-law, and child because of the ignorance of the Canadian military system and how they treat our veterans. Okay? Mike has endured a broken back, and now been sucked in by this system that he can't get out of. Okay? He's trying to, and they keep knocking him down with more drugs. I got a list of them here. I'm not going to list them, but I'll tell you this. He's got tremors. He's trying to hold it together, and they keep trying to set him up. I'll give you an example. He's a good-looking man for 42 years old. He's got a libido. That's for damn sure. He's an alpha dog, right? And he's there. He's got his coveralls on, his muscles, and there is a girl there, and she takes a fancy to Mike. And while he's in bed, she comes in, in the night, and the guard didn't see her go in, the nurses didn't see her go in, they didn't see anybody moving anywhere. So we don't know for sure if it was in his room or her room. But thing happened. Okay? You know what I'm talking about. So there are the nurses standing around. This is like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Okay, there's 8 security guards. Every one of them are bone like a stick. Okay? One big guy. And he ain't got no balls either because they got $12 an hour. Would you go up against a Canadian veteran who could probably break 3 of them in 2 before they even got 2 steps ahead? This is, he's, you know, like, we got a sort of a, I can't talk about it. They're monitoring everything I say. Okay, take a look. Okay, Proverbs 28:33. So there I am on that unit, and there are other people there too, and that's a lot. I can't go into all of them. My main focus right now is the understanding that Nova Scotia Health and the damage being done to people because of people like Colleen Can, Linda Corey, Linda Alderson, and now we got new people in the mix that I can't name because, you know, they just sit. They had, get this, they had 10 squad cars looking for me. Okay, I was sitting on, oh my God. Look, come on guys. I like the police to do their work when there's violence and something going on, but to waste all of that energy on a 67-year-old coal miner who just happens to have a gripe against all the fucking dirt that's going up, excuse me, all the dirt that's going on, all the corruption, all the evidence is here, they have it all, and now they put me in a mental institution, but I think they might have overplayed their hand, if you know what I mean. Like it could have been a, nah, couldn't have set it up. Nah, I'm Goonie. I could never organize something like that. Good God, don't think about setting something up like that. Anyway, look, if you see this video, okay, I want you to take it and to link it to everywhere you can and to link it and say Cape Breton Regional Hospital, Canada's worst, the past 10 years. Okay? And then my journey through this whole mesmerizing, I don't know, clown world. Yeah, clown world. You get beef barley soup with no barley. You can't find a tomato in all of the hospital. Okay, we live next to Viking farms. Like you can't get a tomato in your salad. You can't get basics. And the nurses have to put up with it. Even the janitors are lacking the bags they need to maintain control of sanitation. And we've got cedar I had flesh-eating disease, okay, meningitis, and now COVID with all the variants and the vaccine, what I call vaccine vaccine-associated immune deficiency. That's what I call it, AIDS. And autoimmune deficiency, yeah, that's it. But nevertheless, something happened to Glenn Muse because of one bus driver who's working whatever he's got on James Forsey. James Forsey's the regional manager. Maybe this bus driver is got something on him because maybe they have a relationship from the past. Maybe the whole thing is a personal relationship between this Terrence McDonald and James Forsey. So let's look at that. Why don't you ask some questions of the transit manager, if anybody's in Cape Breton. What is the relationship between one driver that's been keeping me off of all the transit and started all of this noise? Okay? Now another warning. It's there's going to be supposedly a graduation for certain people of a certain thing at our local church hall, and I'm going to make sure that this doesn't happen. Okay, I'm going to spray paint the sidewalk. Sodomites enter here. That's pretty clear, don't you think? Anyway, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, I've got much more to say. You can text me if you have my number, 902-322-8845. Okay? And I don't receive any calls that are not identified. I don't take any calls past my screener at the beginning. So let's do it right. If you want to help me, you can email me glennmuse1000@gmail. And if you want, that's a direct interact. I could use some help right now because I gave everything I had away. Stupid. I had some money and I helped a lot of people. Now I'm indigent. So that's not cool. And so anyway, that's good for tonight. I think I said enough, and kind of get this posted. Have a good day.